Welcome to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. I'm your host, Splendorio. Joining me today is Mayor John Marchand from the beautiful city of Livermore. Welcome, John.
Always a pleasure, Splen. Always good to be here.
Hey, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about at the top of the show. You've got a lot of topics you want to share with our viewers. What do you got?
Well, always good stuff going on. So you may remember that back in May, I had a community service day.
I remember it rained.
It did. So this is something that I started. It actually started out as Helping Hands from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then working with other churches in the community, we actually grew this thing. And pre-COVID, we had 1,000 people stepping up to volunteer. So I'm all stoked. We're all excited. The weather's been beautiful in May, so it's planned for May 7th. And so as you recall, storm clouds were coming in, and the day was supposed to be from 8:30 until about 1:30. We're going to have a barbecue. And so it started to pour at 8 o'clock. Now, I can be paranoid, but just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they aren't out to get you. So it starts raining at 8. So fortunately, I had talked with the city manager, and we decided that we were going to pull the plug on it because all the weather reports said it was going to rain. So day before we pull the plug, we're not going to have it. So it rains. It absolutely pours from 8 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And then the sun comes out. And you may remember the Pacific Chamber Orchestra had a fundraiser outside at Shea Plaza in front of the bankhead. That afternoon it started at 4:30. And it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So, some things, with good luck, anything can succeed. With bad luck, everything's going to fail. So what we're going to do is we rescheduled this for September 7th. It's a little bit different this year. So instead of meeting at Carnegie Library Park, which we've done in previous years, everybody's going to sign up. And what was really gratifying is we had over 600 people sign up for this thing. We have over 30 different events going from spreading mulch, painting down at Hageman Farm. We're planting up in Springtown. There's just all kinds of activities. Throwing mulch everywhere. So people can sign up. They can go to livermoreca.gov/CSD. Community Service Day, and sign up for any number of these things. You can find out, look what the events are, sign up for them, and then all of the activities are already online, so they can pull up and see what those are, find out where the assignments are going to be, and then they just show up there. So rather than show up at the park first and then go to your assigned area, you just go to the assigned area around 8:30 in the morning. We're going to work for about 3.5 hours, and then between 11:30 and 12, everybody's going to show up at the soccer field at Las Positas College for a barbecue. So we're going to start out community service, communities serving our community, and then we've got the barbecue right thereafter. I think that's being put on. I think Rotary's putting that on.
Correct.
And so thank you for the great work that Rotary's doing. But we're bringing the whole community together. It's about the quality of life and people working together to keep our community a great place to live and raise a family.
All right, so the mayor promises no rain on September 7th. Not so sure how hot it'll be, but promises no rain.
Well, we're going to do the best I can. There's certain things that the mayor can control, and there are other things that the mayor can't. But I'm certainly keeping a good thought for that. But the important thing is, we just came through another world of the COVID, and we had to cancel this. But now, once again, I want to bring the community together to serve this community, and that's why we continue to be the remarkable community that we are. It's because everybody steps up. Rotary steps up. We've got our police and fire that always step up every single day to protect the community. But it's about service to the community. That's what I do. I love Livermore because I serve it, and I serve it because I love it.
And I think also emphasize, don't be intimidated. There's a job for you. If you know how to work with tools, there's a job for you. If you don't know how to work with tools, there's a job for you. There's always something you can do.
And it's all ages. I was at Hageman Farm a couple years ago, and there were kids like 3 years old. And they're pulling weeds, and to see the kids out there painting, it's just so much fun. But there's something for everybody, every skill level, and just about every age.
There you go. All right, John. Anything else on your
That's going to be about for the Community Service Day. But show up at your sign up first. livermoreca.gov/CSD Community Service Day. Show up on site. And then after you work a few hours, come together and we'll all have lunch at Las Positas College.
Thank you, John. Hey, at a recent City Council meeting, you received quite a bit of public comment over a $10,000 art grant to Livermore Pride. Can you give our viewers a little bit of history, why there was so much comment, and what was the purpose of this grant request?
Well, so these grant requests are through the Commission for the Arts. And so this is an idea that this grant funding originally came from a proposal when I was on the Art Commission 15 years ago. But it's a fee on new development, and so it's 0.3% goes into a fund. So developers can either fee out and just pay the fee, and then it goes into the public art fee, or they can build public art on their site. So with that, during my first go-around as mayor, in those 9 years, the city of Livermore acquired 57 new pieces of public art at no public expense. So for the companies that decide to fee out, that goes into an art fund. And so what happened is there were a number of applications that we received, and the city of Livermore provided 3 grants to different organizations, Livermore Valley Opera, Livermore Pride, and Thomas and Dewhurst, who's a muralist. So what turned out was that nobody read the staff report, and people got very concerned about the grant award that was being made to Livermore Pride. Because there was one word that everybody focused on, because it talks about multiple audiences, age-appropriate entertainment, talked about live performances, DJs, live music, drag, and performance art. And everybody focused on the word drag. Now, and then all sorts of other things came out of that. And it's funny, everybody was focused more on some of the drag performances that are gathering a lot of news. For example, at the Olympics, that got a lot of people upset. But nobody's considering that we just had a drag performance at Livermore Shakes at the Spark Theater at Darcy, Kent. 12th night, there's a character that spends most of the show in drag. There was Tom Hanks in Bosom Buddies, Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire, Dustin Hoffman in Tootsie, and let's not forget Tony Curtis in Some Like It Hot. So people got really excited about that, but these are going to be age-appropriate performances. But there was a lot of people were spun up about this. There was an email that was sent out. But these are going to be age appropriate, and so this was the Commission for the Arts vetted these applications. They made the awards, and it was a unanimous decision by the council. Brittany Kick was not there. She was stuck up in Sacramento, so she did not participate in the discussion or the vote. But it was a unanimous decision by the council to go along with the awards by the Commission for the Arts.
All right. Well, thank you for explaining that, John.
Sure.
I very much appreciate it. And we have a few more minutes in this part of the show, but I'd like to start on a subject and finish it off afterwards. And that is, give us, our viewers, an update on the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan. Now, that is a plan that was approved a few years ago, and it's if you drive over by Costco, you see some construction going on. Can you give our viewers an update on what's been going on? What's the status of it?
Yeah, so the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan, that's altogether about 4,100 housing units, and it's going to be just west of the Las Positas College, kind of north of Costco, and it's going to be an interesting plan because this is going to be a complete walkable neighborhood. It'll be a transit-oriented development, so it's going to be ground floor retail. There's going to be a grocery store. They're planting, I think, over 450 new trees up there. There's going to be over, I think, 350 affordable units for both for rent and for sale. So it's really going to be something that's different from what we've seen in Livermore before, but it's really going to be a remarkable development because it's going to allow people to live and work and not have to get into their cars to be in their neighborhood. It's going to be 4 new bus lines are going to be up there. There's going to be several parks, also complete hiking trails, walking trails over the freeway. So it's going to be a great development.
Okay. So you said 4,100 homes, but can you just maybe remind our viewers what's the genesis of why the council or the city approved it? I think it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. What was the intention of developing that part of the city?
Well, okay, so we have these things called RHNA numbers, the Regional Housing Needs Assessment, and that's required by the state. So the city, in order to meet those RHNA numbers, because we're going to have a transit hub there with Valley Link coming in, then connecting to BART, this was an opportunity to create a new neighborhood that's going to be self-contained. People aren't going to have to leave the neighborhood to get the services that they require. This most recent development, there's about 2,000 units that we've approved so far. And the timeline is between 15 and 20 years. So it's going to be a number of years before all of this is built out. But it's a 1.5 acre park, 3 public plazas, ground floor retail, the grocery store, and of course grocery stores are critically important. And you also run into the issue where it's a chicken and egg sort of thing. You need people to support a grocery store, and you need a grocery store to provide services for people. So we're working with our Economic Development Department to bring those together so that we have the grocery store when people are going to need it.
All right, thank you, John. I want to take a quick break, and then I want to revisit this subject. And
Okay.
we'll be right back on this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. Welcome back to this edition of the Mayor's Report for Livermore. We are here talking with Mayor John Marchand. Welcome back, John.
It's good to be back.
Now, so let's finish up on the Isabel Neighborhood Specific Plan. You said it was going to take 15, 20 years. Mm-hmm. What can we see in the next few years?
Well, there's a couple projects. There's a couple projects that have already started to come out of the ground, Shea Homes is going to be building, I believe, about 74 units just to the east of Isabel, and that's going to be next to the Sage property right now. And there's also going to be, most of what we're talking about is going to be to the west of Isabel. There's Portola Avenue and North Canyons Parkway. You can see some of the new buildings that are going up there. There's going to be 1.5 miles of new bike trails, and they're going to be separated from the roadway. So it's going to be much safer for people to walk and cycle. So looking forward to it. It's going to be sort of an all-inclusive neighborhood, and we haven't really had the opportunity to do that before. Now the planners are really excited because usually what we've been having to do is cookie cutter sort of stuff where you've got these little places that you have to do infill. And this is a very rare opportunity where we have really a blank sheet of paper. And this was the largest packet I have ever seen. This project was over 2,000 pages long. The specific detail, the packet that we had was 44 pages shy of 3,000 pages. It was 2,956 pages, and I went through every one of them.
Well, great, John. I want to talk a little bit about something that just concluded, but it's an annual, exciting, youth-oriented event that I know you need to highlight because it was exciting.
It really was. So you're talking about the Little League World Series, obviously. So this all sort of came together. I couldn't have planned it any better. But the U.S. Conference of Mayors has a wonderful program that they call Play Ball. So mayors play ball. And so actually I was in Washington, D.C. when we launched this and launched it along with Cal Ripken, so the Iron Man of baseball. So it's a great program, and it's getting out there with the youth. You may remember that Livermore was founded in 1869, the same year that the Transcontinental Railroad was completed. And that's also the year that the Cincinnati Red Stockings started Major League Baseball as we know it today, 1869. So long-standing history. So this year, the Little League World Series, the 10th year that they've played. Now we did take 2 years off for COVID, but this was the 10th year of play. And it really is a World Series. And the really cool thing this year was that Livermore was the representative from the District 57 teams. So Livermore was the host team, and we hosted teams from Germany, South Korea, Australia, Puerto Rico, Curacao, literally from Canada. So from all over the world, we had young athletes coming to Livermore to play at Max Baer Park. And it was some really, really exciting baseball. The kids, they're passionate about this, and they obviously love the game. So very exciting baseball. The games were shown on ESPN Plus, and really had a chance to really highlight some of the great things here in Livermore. A few years ago, when the teams we assembled in the downtown, some of the kids said, your downtown is like Disneyland. And so this is the thing to bringing everybody together.
Disneyland downtown is like Livermore.
Yeah, well, but we were here first. So, but it's sharing those experiences. The kids on the field, and they create friendships that are going to last a lifetime. And you see the camaraderie between the kids. Yeah, there's a competition, but there's that deep camaraderie and the love of the game. And that's what makes it all worthwhile.
Oh, great. Thanks for letting us.
Absolutely.
So, John, let's talk about Hartford Hills property. What is the Hartford Hills property, and why is the city buying this property?
Well, this is one of those key links that we have. It's a very strategic piece of property. It's in North Livermore, sort of to the west of Springtown. And there's a lot of extraordinarily valuable land up there. We have the alkali sink up there. And in that area, we have plants that exist nowhere else on Earth. We have Dianandra Bacigalupii, which was named for Rigo Bacigalupi, who was the curator of the Berkeley Rose Garden. So, but it's the Livermore tar plant. It grows nowhere else on Earth but right here. So this is one of those very strategic pieces of property that will, first off, it will complete the T6 trail, so it's part of our active transportation plan, and it'll allow people to hike or cycle It's a very important connecting piece. And the city is seeking to acquire it in perpetuity to keep it as open space. Perpetuity is a long time. So it's going to keep this land from ever being developed. And we're working with partner agencies like the Tri-Valley Conservancy to ensure that it will be preserved and it will be maintained. We can't complete that trail without acquiring this property. So what we're using is the Doherty Valley Settlement Agreement funds and the Altamont funds. Now, this just shows how long I've been around. So the Doherty Valley Settlement Agreement came out of litigation from when I was on the Zone 7 Water Board 25 years ago. And this was a fund that was created to acquire open space lands in response to the Doherty Valley developments. So this will have no impact on the general fund. These are funds that are already there, and they're paid for by the development. We've approved a grant of about almost $1 million, $980,000, which is 50% of the cost. It's about $24,000 an acre, which is sort of the going rate. A little high, but again, this is a very strategic piece of property. So it's interesting when Zone 7 voted to approve this, the Doherty Valley settlement, the Doherty Valley, when we voted to approve the water for that, to show you how politically charged all of this. Now, that was about $100 million in benefit to the ratepayers. And we acquired 43,000 acre feet of new water storage. We acquired the water rights to fill that. And after talking with the then president of the Sierra Club, I talked with them for almost 2 hours after the vote. And they said to me, knowing what you know, I would have voted the same way. The next day, the Sierra Club called for me to be recalled from the Zone 7 board, even though they agreed that it was the right move to make. And in retrospect, absolutely, that was the right thing. But what's also interesting is there's another group that was one of the signatories of the Doherty Valley Settlement Agreement. It's a group called CBG, Citizens for Balanced Growth. And they are opposing this. The president of the group has actually come out and said that they don't want the city to acquire any more open space. And they don't want the city to use open space funds to acquire open space. And really, I don't understand why their opposition. The city is trying to acquire this open space, and they have come out and in so many words said that they don't want the city to acquire open space. Now, the problem is, according to the settlement agreement, we have to confer and consult with them before we acquire any new open space. They've come out very clearly and said they don't want the city to acquire it, but they refuse to meet with the city. And they're banking on the fact that because the agreement says that they have to meet and confer, that they can prevent the acquisition of open space by not meeting with the city. So we're still working at it. They've been very clear that they don't want the city to acquire this, and we're just as determined that we're going to acquire and protect this open space.
All right, thank you, John, for that update. I guess there'll be more to follow on that one.
More than you ever wanted to know, but that's kind of what I do.
No, it's very informative, but I'm sure there'll be more. We only have a minute left, but let's talk, there's always wonderful things happening in Livermore. Let's talk about upcoming city events.
Well, we've got the All Ages Bookmark Art Contest. That's going to be during the month of August. They can submit their original artwork for the library bookmark template. The library staff are going to select the preliminary designs and the finalists, and there's going to be a community-wide vote in September. So winning designs will be printed for the library distribution in the fall, so they can visit the library website for more information on that. And also the August 7th, so it's like real quick, there's going to be, the Livermore Library is going to have about awe-inspiring animals, animals from the rainforest. We've got armadillos, macaws, skinks, which are lizards and not stinky animals that not like skunks, and the spectacled owl. So there's always great things going on at the library. Check the city website, the art contest, and awe-inspiring animals.
All right, thank you so much, John, for being here and updating all our viewers. I'm Splen Splendorio. Join us for the next episode of the Mayor's Report of Livermore right here on Tri-Valley TV. Thank you so much for watching.